John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Thanks so much for tuning in once again. I really appreciate all the support. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please share these videos with your friends. Hit the bell so you can be notified whenever a new video comes up. I've got a bunch of them lined up, a bunch of new Broadhead tests, so please stay tuned. And today I'm excited to test out the Wasp Drone. Okay, thanks to a buddy of mine, Zachary Waterfield from Ethics Archery, who donated this pack to me. Thanks, Zachary. I really appreciate it. I'm able to put them to the test. This is the 100 grain version. So for all this test, I'm going to be using my regimen for 2022, and you can read about that as well as see the scores of how each of these heads perform in each of these tests in the description right below this video. But I'm going to be using my Bowtech CP28 set at 72 pounds. For some of the shots, I use my Bowtech SR6 at 65 pounds. That's through one of the penetration tests. And I'm using Bishop FOC King arrows for most of the testing, but then the Bishop Archery FAD eliminators for the really hard impact stuff. So let's zoom on in here and check out some of the design features and specifications of this Wasp drone and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at the drone. This is the 100 grain model. Got a cutting diameter of 1 1/8 inches, vented blades that are 0.027 inches thick. So pretty thin blades by today's market standards, and a very short profile to the blades that's going to make them, I would imagine, really forgiving in flight and good in penetration as well. And then it has this nice tip. I've always really liked the tips of the Wasp. They're like cut on contact, but also chisel and really long, really narrow. So pretty cool looking head overall. One of the things that is not my favorite about it, besides the blades being pretty thick, is the way that they're retained. I mean, it's not abnormal to have this kind of retention where you have, I don't know if you can even see this here on the camera, but you have this little extra, do it this way, this little extra tip. Can you see that little, like that little divot, and then the tip goes up? That's what slides under the top like that. It slides under the tip, and then it's held in place by this O-ring and the pressure against your arrow. However, that's a really tiny little niche right there. And with a hard impact, I just wonder how well the blades are going to be able to stay retained. But we're going to see. We'll see what the durability is like. I imagine the penetration and the flight are going to be really good. But let's see how this Wasp drone performs. $175. It penetrated 8 inches, and like I always say, I know it doesn't look like that because of the way the lens of the camera lines up with the tape measure and the Broadhead, but that's the measurement, 8 inches. $200. It penetrated through 67 layers. Here it is after 3 shots through the MDF, and it's just in absolutely perfect condition. Unfortunately, it lost all 3 blades on the first shot into the steel plate, and they were actually like sticking out partway from the steel and then partway in the target. And here you can see in the picture the reason why, that little thin tip of each blade that slides under the front of the Broadhead broke off in all 3 instances, and in 2 of them the back end also broke off. So I feared that was going to be a weak point, and it definitely proved to be a weak point. Now here's the hole in the steel plate, which is just kind of your typical round hole with 3 slits coming off of it. So unfortunately, it won't make it on to the concrete round because the durability tests are, they're like a knockout round. They're progressive. So it made it through the MDF, got to go on to the steel plate, but lost its blades on the steel plate. So that's where the durability test concludes. So what'd you think of the drone? Hey, you know, it performed really well in a lot of the areas. Flight was excellent, as I imagined it would be. Penetration was really, really good. The sharpness, the edge retention, the durability in the MDF was really good. But then with the steel plate, I think it really revealed a weakness in a hard impact. Those little tabs that affect the blade retention, that slide under the tip and under the base. Those are just a bit thin. I think with the thin blades and the relatively small size of those, in a really hard impact, it proved to be problematic. So that was its biggest weakness. I would imagine in most hunting situations, it would do just fine. But then, to be honest, I think for this type of a basic head, there are a lot better choices, okay? There's heads that can hold up to that and still do everything else that this one can do. So it's not a bad choice, okay? You can check out the score sheet and see how it performed in each of the areas that matter to you the most. But again, I just think there are some that are a bit more durable in their blade retention.